Hello and welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour on this awesome October 27th, 2020. I'm your host, Andrew Barnes, and let's go ahead and jump right into the introductions with my awesome co-host, Brad Tilton.
Hey everybody, my name is Brad Tilton and I'm a developer advocate with the developer program here at ServiceNow. I have been developing on ServiceNow for about 12 years and been an employee for the last 4, and I am really excited about this special edition of Live Coding Happy Hour today.
Oh, thanks, Brad. And I'm Andrew Barnes, also a developer advocate here at ServiceNow. I've just recently passed my second year working at ServiceNow directly. I've been on the platform for over 6 years as a customer and an implementation partner. And I specialize in building custom apps, integrations, and large scale development deployments. And we are super excited to be here with you today. Um, this is super live coding. We are doing this right now, this very second. Whether or not you're seeing us through the CreatorCon channel or in YouTube, which is our usual broadcast point, is in YouTube and Twitch. We're delighted to be here. And what we're going to do on this live code is we do live development right here. It's completely unscripted. There's no magic. There's no pre-baking. We didn't practice this ahead of time. So what you're going to see is very much what you would experience if you're doing the development work that we're going to do today. But before we get into more of that, this is a happy hour. And even though it's a little earlier than our usual Fridays at 4:30 Eastern when we broadcast, we also have a beverage usually with it. Brad, what did you bring to drink today?
Today I am representing Texas with a saloon juice, which I thought was a clever name, so I picked it up.
Nice. And I have got a barrel aged Innocent Gun Blood Red Sky that I'm particularly excited about today. So, the problems that we're going to work on today is we manage this show and its automation through a ServiceNow instance. So if you've seen the show before, you've seen us work on that before. And one of the things that happens is some of the pieces aren't all automated yet. And the automation point that isn't done that caused us a little headache a couple of weeks ago is turning off of our VM. So we run the infrastructure for this show in a VM and uh, in a VM. And if we forget to turn that off, it costs money to run that VM. So part of what we're going to do today is automate the turning on of that VM and automate the turning off of it during windows around our show. And then if we finish that, we have some more work to do, which is ending the YouTube stream. Anything else that we want to share before we get in to our instance and start doing development, Brad?
I on the Google VM, I cannot confirm nor deny which one of us is the one that's real bad at remembering to turn it off, and the reason for this. But I also want to call out Hacktoberfest. This is the last week of Hacktoberfest, where we are encouraging developers to participate in open source projects. We have a post on it over on the blog. If you're not sure what it is, go check it out. You have a few more days to participate, and it's been a lot of fun so far. We've had a lot of participation.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my desktop and we'll continue talking about our problem set and then solving it while we're on our desktop share. So let me go ahead and share my screen and go into my ServiceNow instance and open up a artifact. So starting off, I'm in a ServiceNow instance right now that I've got loaded our live stream management application. It's called Artifact Manager. So I'm going to open up one of these artifacts and show you what's inside of here, which is, this is a type of live stream, and it's got hosts. So this instance doesn't have all our user data in it because I just set it up today, and I got the bare minimum in here. So you see the sysids for the users. Again, this is completely unscripted and unprepared, unpracticed, not unprepared, but unpracticed development work.
I thought you
So
were just going to go full machine on us and tell us you can now read sysids.
I can read sysids. I can read the global scope sysid, which is global.
There you go.
I can read that one. So we've got some automation already that drives these. Like when we move into ready to publish, that creates our YouTube entry for this live stream at the scheduled time and date. So that automation already exists. It's already done in Flow Designer. And if you haven't seen Flow Designer, we'll give you a little intro in that when I move into there. And what we're going to do today is I thought I was going to have to create a new integration with Google Cloud Engine, but it turns out that I didn't have to. I almost went and looked at what all I needed to do that. But then I stopped myself and I went and checked the ServiceNow store because I had an inkling that we might have this one, and we do. We do have Google Compute Engine Spoke, which does exactly what I need, which is turning on and off of a VM in Google Cloud. So I scrolled here to what it does, and I was like, start instance, stop instance. Yes, please. Let me get that. So in order to get that plugin, what I did, well, that store spoke, I went to the application screen here. And this is loading all of the plugins and local applications and store applications that I have access to from this instance. And I put in, what was it? Compute? Yeah. So I put in Google Compute, and it narrowed down here, and it says that I could install it. I went ahead and installed it because I didn't want to just wait on that loading screen. There's not a lot of value from y'all seeing that. But I've loaded this spoke. And so now this is in my instance and it's available. The next thing I had to do was set up a credential. So over in the credentials, connections and credentials aliases, that spoke installed a new one for Google Cloud Compute. And there was no credential here beforehand, so I had to add this credential. So I added this new credential here over in the OAuth entity profile because our connection to Google Cloud is through OAuth. And so I'm going to drill into a couple of records to get to where I actually put in my details. So here is where the things I had to do was I had to set the redirect URL. I had to put in my client ID and client secret. The rest of all of this was filled out for me and prepared. Does that make sense, Brad?
It does. It does. And I want to go back to when you were talking about you went and looked at the store. You know, there was a point in time where I felt like I knew most of the spokes that we had available, but I think we have passed, I think we're past 100, right?
We've passed 100, which is definitely past my ability to hold all of them in my brain, which is why I didn't know for sure we had this until I went and searched. So it definitely has surpassed that just over the course of this year. So during Hacktoberfest last year, we were working as a community on building some spokes. And so let's talk about what that is. So over in Flow Designer, which is one of my favorite tools in ServiceNow of the past 2 years, we have these flows, which are the digital workflows. So their purpose is to, take you through at least part of a process. Um, but it also in Flow Designer, what is executed during those flows are called actions. And so actions are what comprise a spoke. So a spoke is a usually designed around a particular service offering from another endpoint. In this case, Google Compute Engine is a spoke, and that's an associated grouping of all the actions that are related to performing actions in Google Compute. So I've narrowed this list down to just those. And so we can see there's 31 actions provided by this spoke. All of those actions have some purpose in managing activity in the Google Compute cloud space. And then you consume those actions inside of flows and subflows. So our first step is to decide what we're going to do in our flow, and or decide if it's a subflow. I think it's going to be a flow because we're going to, oh, wait, that's a good question. How are we going to trigger this? Do you want to trigger it completely automatically, or do you want to trigger it through a button?
That's a good question. I think it probably needs to happen automatically because the one of us that's bad at turning off the stream here may not remember to hit a button, and that would probably be about the same as it is now.
Okay, so then that means that we'll start from a flow. So the decisioning I was making there was if if I want to have a direct trigger from some sort of record interaction or scheduled interaction, then a flow makes sense. If I want to trigger that potentially from some other process, then a subflow gives me a little more flexibility on when and how I invoke that and what my triggers are. So let's start with a start VM for cloud code. And we're going to put this in our application artifact manager because this is part of that application. We're not going to use the user session.
So just to jump in real quick, if you are watching this through the ServiceNow.com site that CreatorCon's running on, the chat is back and enabled, but you do need to refresh your browser screen to get the chat to come up. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just keep on watching.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad. And we love chatting. Brad is monitoring our chat, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions there or bring them up onto the stream so that we can engage with you because this is totally live, and we will, it's like, it takes like 5 seconds processing, but that's as live as the world gets, really. So I want to trigger off a record. The record's going to be an artifact record. It is going to be our state of that record. So I did the start VM. So we'll trigger off of our ready to publish state. And then this is going to be a little bit tricky how to invoke this at the right time. Let me think about that. Because I can't really trigger this off a record operation directly because I'm not going to update this record 15 minutes before the show.
Yeah, does it need to happen on a schedule, you think?
I think this might needs to be some form of schedule that I feed it. Can I feed run once a data pill from somewhere else? No.
I mean, we could also just have it run like every Friday afternoon, and
I could
have it
that's not very great automation. That's a good question. Is how I want to invoke this directly.
Right, because most of the time it'll need to run around, what,
So
5
let's do
p.m.
two things
Central.
then. Let's do our regular one, and we'll just go ahead and schedule that with some checks to make sure that it should run then. And then we'll do if we're doing an ad hoc session, we'll use buttons, but we'll use the buttons inside of ServiceNow.
Yeah. Sounds good. So we could put our logic in a subflow and then just call it from a couple of
Right.
different places.
So we're going to want to run this weekly on Fridays and this is where it gets tricky because we need to get the correct time, which I think is 1,300 hours in the instance. I shouldn't grab this one because that's not a good one. That's not our usual time. Let's grab a published one, and the time from that will be the right time. 13:30. Excellent. So we're going to go at 13:30, but we're going to subtract 15 minutes. So we're going to go here. Oh, what the heck? It's a VM. Just spin it up at 30 minutes beforehand. And then we want to look up a record. Yeah, I want to look up a record, right? To see that there is one that's running near that time.
Because like this Friday, we won't have one. So we would want to make sure that a record exists for that day.
And planned publish date is on, can I tell it today? Yes. Sweet. That seems okay. That's close enough. So when this runs, it will check to see if there's one for that day. We don't run later than that on Fridays. So I think that's good enough. Then we need to do just a little bit of logic, which is if this is success, we're going to do something. And so the action we're going to take is over here in the Google Cloud. Nope, it's not called Google Cloud here. It's compute. That's gonna get me all day long. We want to start an instance. And this is pretty cool. Let me grab from off the screen somewhere what our project is, because I don't remember it. It's completely obvious when I load it because it's some form of live coding happy hour, but yeah, I don't know what it is without that. And it is, of course, just live coding happy hour with dashes. So there's some interesting, so I took just a moment to take a look at this to see how it would work. So I'm going to pull open this action and show you what's going on here. So you can see when I hit zone, there's data populated here. Brad, you should have a question about that, shouldn't you? That's not prompting at all, right?
Yeah. How is the data there?
Yeah. So is it stored on this instance locally? No, of course not, because we haven't actually ever connected to this. So this is not stored locally. What it's doing right now is it's using a different action that was provided in this spoke to query the Google Compute APIs and send it our project ID and return all of the relevant zones and instances for me. So I opened up that action, and I meant to instead open up the zone one. So there'll be an action here to say fetch zones. and fetch instances by zones. And so this is a dynamic action that queries a remote API. So you can see here, it's got a REST step, which is reaching out to the Google Compute APIs and is asking it, hey, what zones do you have available to me? And then it does some processing of that. And then at the output of this is going to be a zone object that will contain the different names of different zones. Does that make sense, Brad?
Yeah, and I love going into those those actions just as a, if you're trying to learn Flow Designer and Integration Hub, it's a great place to go look and just see how this stuff is built, especially if you have to build something from scratch.
Oh, absolutely. They're an invaluable resource for me, right? When I'm trying to learn what I should be doing, because especially some of these are cool in that they provide, um, like the one that we just opened, handles pagination. So if you need to query a remote resource and you know you're going to get too much data per query, you can limit those queries and paginate them so that you're meeting the expectations of the other endpoint. And this shows you a working complete pagination setup and the processing of that. And so you can look at one of these working ones and then uh, use that to help you build yours. It's super valuable tool when you're inside of ServiceNow is looking at something that's already working.
So we had a chat question, and I actually didn't catch this when you did it, but for the zones, did they just come in right after you tabbed out of the project ID? It knew what zones to get?
It did. It started going and grabbing them right then.
Nice.
Absolutely. So that was a good question. So here in the um, so I wanted to show you in the start instance how this looks when you're configuring one of these actions is you actually choose dynamic choice and then it will prompt you for which other action is going to provide those dynamic choices. So this is how that dropdown is actually set up and configured. And all of this, I was going to have to build this myself today. And this is completely like, I was prepared to go build this today. This is not a pre-canned message that, oh, it's cool, we've got a lot of spokes, it'll solve problems for you. No, this was just a happy accident that it really is a a nice collection of spokes available to you in the ServiceNow store. So I was prepared to build this today. Um,
Yeah,
so
this was just a problem that we had that
yeah, this is
Brad
just
keeps leaving the
this is
VM on.
a real actual problem we have. So I've chosen, yeah, see, I did a good thing. Whew. There, what I don't want to do is actually turn off our stream. So
Right
we should
now.
be safe right now because we're on the start VM action. But this can reach out and actually do things to my instances. And what you'll note here is um, there's only one choice because I only have one instance in that zone. I have more than one VM instance, but I only have one in this zone. So that other dynamic choice from this other action, which is list VM instances by zone, is already doing that limiting. And so that was part of how I was helping myself today was I'd have to make two mistakes to get to this instance. I'd have to choose the wrong zone and the wrong instance. And so hopefully I don't encounter that. But if we kill the stream in the middle, that's probably why.
That just means we were successful if the stream stops.
Yeah.
We got
So
it to work.
what I'm going to do really quick is pull over a window that shows you that this instance is off right now. this instance is stopped. And I'm going to give it a quick test just to show that I can turn it on, because I haven't actually done this yet. So let's see if it actually works. In order to do that, we should be able to, we have one that's planned published today. So I think this would actually work in its current state. Let's give it a try.
Do we think this is going to mess with our VM? I hadn't even thought about doing this while running the VM.
This is a different VM though.
Oh, that's right. This is a different VM.
So we're gonna run this test, and we're gonna see if the stream ends. So I clicked that too fast. I'm gonna go back. So after I execute a test, you'll see that I have this handy link here, which opens up the execution and has details on this execution. And it looks like it says it did not run. So no success. So let's see why. Record not found. So I need to go look for a record from that has a planned publish date of today. So let's see if this is true.
Like there's two.
Run. Yes, there should be. How did you fail? That's not where I expected to fail. Operation. No record found.
So ready to publish.
Publish by on today. Let's take a look and see if we did something wrong in this query. State's ready to publish. Planned publish date on today. That looks pretty reasonable. For now, I'm just gonna X out this part because I'm not actually like really needing that at this moment to just test this. So I'm just gonna give it another test with a little less restriction.
This is doing more spinning. That's promising.
That did a promising amount of spinning. But it's not error. Hey, let's just check.
That's good.
Let's just check this. What's it say? It says off still. That's not satisfying. Let's take a look. So this instance or this execution window allows me to see all the details of this full runtime. So I don't typically have to go other places to see what's going on with what I just performed. The data should be here. We've got a live coding happy hour. We've got 1B. We've got 4 live, which is the name. It came back and said 200 on the status there, which is usually, I'd expect a authentication error or something first. And then it says processing it. It thinks it succeeded. Why didn't it? 4 live, compute operation. Everything looks like it succeeded. How about I give that page a refresh? Let's just give this a... Oh, did you see it?
Goes. I saw it.
Flipped.
It just took a little while to show us.
Sneaky little bugger. I just wasn't patient enough. So when you're in the interface and you tell it to start up, it gives you a little indicator that it's starting up. But it looked like this only gave me the indicator once it was up and running, because it didn't know, this interface didn't know it was starting. So it was successful. Well, that's victory. I'm taking a drink. That's victory. It started a VM for me.
They have confirmed that we're still streaming.
Nice. So the next action I want to do is I want to update my record to let it know that I've started the stream. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the record we're going to update is our artifact record. So I'm going to drag that data pill and drop it here into this record input box. And that auto selected my table. And the fields I'm going to update is the comments. No, the war. What we actually don't have any activity stream on that. Where do we want to put it? How do we want to indicate that the VM is up? What kind of
do we need another
states
state?
do I have for that?
It'll already be in ready to publish.
What let me see. Ooh. Maybe no, it's not quite ready for updating the publish date and publish URL. It's almost ready for that, but that's different automation that I should do. I don't know. Is there a thing you'd want to see on the artifact record to let you know the VM's up? I think I think there is, and I know where I want to put it now. It is in this abstract details. Mm-hmm. I want to append it to that. I don't know how to do that. Do you know how to do that?
Can you grab it from the?
I think I have to grab the data pill and then add to it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So there's two ways to get to your data pills. There's over here on the right hand side, and then there's the little cannonball guy. That's not the official name. It's just my name. Don't yell at me. I like this one because it allows me to search. So you can see there's a little search box up here at the top. And what was the field I said I wanted? Was it abstract? Yeah, abstract. So we put in the existing abstract, and then we add in the VM is loaded and ready. And unfortunately, this start instance didn't return what I wanted it to return, which was its IP address. Ooh. I think we're going to have to query for the IP address of that, because I really need that in my life. Let's see what's available. Again, this is completely unscripted. I don't know if this is in here, but I'm going to look. If it's in here, I'm going to use it, which is, I want give me the IP address of an instance. Maybe I should narrow down by instance or something. Get region, list zones, get instance template. No, I want to get the instances details.
That didn't come back as part of the response.
I didn't see it in there, but we could check the start instance executions. Which was,
I think it's the top one.
Oh yeah, it doesn't list the actions things separately. I don't know why I thought it did. So we go into the step, and then we can look at the return payload to see what they gave us. That was the headers. It's not going to be in there. Should be in here. I really want the IP address.
Yeah.
Why do you forsake me, activities? Give me the IP address. Let's take a look at the.
You haven't saved this flow, and it's making me nervous. Thanks.
For you, Brad, I will save anytime you need me to, sir. let's go take a look. We'll take a very, very quick detour. How are we doing on time, Brad? I feel
I
like
think
we're
we have what, 25 minutes?
okay. So I've got 3 minutes to go look to see if there's APIs for that. V1 instances, get, add, get. What's get give me? Yeah, network
There it
details.
is.
That that's that's what I need. This is what I need. So let's take one more quick look and see if they didn't already give me that. Google Compute Engine. Not templates. Not a create. What do you give me? Nope. Okay. It doesn't do it.
Would it for the could it be the Google Cloud Virtual Network because it was network details? Nope.
Yeah, this is
It's something totally different.
totally different. So that just means we'll need to create it. Hey, I know what a future live code's going to be. Is I'm going to come over here to this start instance and tweak it just a little bit to get the instance details, because this API accepts pretty much the same stuff. Projects, project zones, instance, resource ID, which I'll have the resource ID. So I think that this is a pretty easy call to switch it from start to just get. Man, I'm sorely tempted to just do it right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to get something working first, and then we'll tweak it. So this is working, except for the failure route. Let's do the failure route. We're never going to fail, right?
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. Oh, that's why I like you, Brad. bringing the right things to the business. So we need to update our record. So I'm going to narrow this down to update record. I'm going to update my artifact record, and I'm going to tell that poor little artifact record that the abstract, and we're going to get our data pill. I'm going to go a little faster this time. Artifact record, abstract. The VM is sad. You have to start it manually.
Should we send an email too?
We can send an email, and I think we do when the abstract is updated, but let's send an email. Hey, you know what just came out was on the developer site, which we haven't yet plugged yet. So minus 2 points from both of us is the developer site over here, learn, and let's go to learn overview. Nope, that's not what I wanted, but we'll go to courses. And then if we go to, where am I going? Flow Designer. Oh, I'm premature, aren't I? Oh my goodness. Coming very soon. Coming very soon to this page is a new module for doing notifications in Flow Designer. Brad and I both reviewed that, and I think it's released like on Friday.
I thought it was in already.
Well, obviously I thought it was in already too, but I was wrong because it's not here unless I'm on the wrong version. Am I on the wrong version? I am on the wrong version.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
I like that little version picker up there.
We got to go to Paris. Where is it? Flow Designer. Look at that.
There
We
it
weren't
is.
crazy. Notifications in Flow Designer. So this is what we're going to do. While we're here on the developer site, you can find us, Brad and I, here in the blog, as well as get to share projects in the community and local events like our developer meetups that Brad and I help manage. All of the APIs under reference, including all the really cool stuff over in Now Experience. I can't get distracted. I can't go to the component playground right now, but it's awesome. You should go there. It's a lot of fun. Let's add a notification. So I'm
We
going
have
to
a
go here.
question. Is this spoke available in PDIs?
That is a really good question. So the store spokes currently aren't available in PDIs, unfortunately.
All right.
So let me see. I need to ServiceNow core. I need to send email. And I'm going to target record is our artifact record. Who we're going to send it to is those crazy hosts from that artifact record. Hosts. The required hosts are the ones who care. VM is not started. Go start it yourself. Dev program automation. I just made up that signature. I hope everybody appreciates that.
I like it.
So now we're going to send an email to the hosts to let them know, hey, you've got to go start up that. But we don't send an email or any notification to them on success because we expect success. We don't know what failure is. We just haven't yet succeeded. So we're not going to send a notification here because I don't want to know when it succeeds. I want to know when I need to take some action. So that is our start of VM. Guess what we need to do next, Brad?
We should end one.
We should end one. And we're going to be risky. Let's be risky. Do you want to duplicate this one? I feel like copy flow.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And we're going to put it in the correct application. Copy it. Copy. So what that's doing behind the scenes is copying all of both the trigger and all of my actions and their settings into this new flow record. And so clearly we're going to have to change this start instance to be the end instance one because this isn't that's not the right. But otherwise we should be pretty close. So we want to end instance. Nope. VM. What do they call it?
Is it stop?
Oh, I think it's stop. But I tried to, so then there's no more. You just have to. And we already have this guy, so we can copy that and move it up here. And then zones. So help me not shut our stream down, Brad.
Let's just say thanks for joining us, everybody, just in case.
So 4 Live is the one I want to shut down for sure. And I probably should have created a whole new account just for the riskiness of what I'm about to do. So I'm going to delete the start instance action. This looks right. I'm feeling a little comfortable about that. 1B 4 Live. That's fine. I'm going to update the artifact record. VM is stopped. Brad is safe. and send email on failure to the required hosts. VM failed to stop. Please stop spending the money. All right.
Thanks for not putting my name in there.
I have been a culprit myself. I just have been doing it for a lot longer, so my failure rate has died down because habits, humans' habits. So, are we ready to press the button? It's been really nice hanging out with all of you. We're glad to have seen you. We hope that this action doesn't kill the stream. So let's close this API page. So here we are. We've got two. Let's test it, because this is how risky we get.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, it says it's completed, which means it started to turn it off. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look. Says it's on. Let's give it a moment. I haven't heard anyone yelling at me in the background, so we at least haven't turned off the wrong one yet. Let's give it a refresh.
All right.
It turned off. Oh my goodness, I'm excited.
And we're still going.
So
double success.
So this is pretty close to handling Fridays now. I need to tweak my trigger a little bit.
I do have a question about our if statement in the flow. Shouldn't that be after we try to stop the instance?
Oh, so that status is actually on whether or not we're found the artifact record or not.
Okay.
So we probably should get, we probably should do
may need double
some
error
flow
handling.
logic down here on the success or failure from the starting and stopping instance. The reason I hesitated to do that was because what I really need to do is add in that get instance information.
Oh yeah.
And handle that. And then I can actually pass actionable information to the user, which is I really have actually failed or I've succeeded, and here's the IP address, and go one of those two branches. So that's why I didn't add that yet. That is something that I will need to add, but I have not yet added that because I need to add that action. So on 1500 hours, we're going to run this one to turn it off. So that's pretty ready.
I think so.
We've got maybe like 3 or 4 more minutes before we need to start wrapping up, Brad. Do you think we should, what do you think we should do in that, the interim? Do you want to copy the start instance and look at switching that to the get? Because I think that will be like, I think that's a 3-minute operation.
All right.
You want to copy it? I want to copy it.
Sure.
Let's
we
do
did
it.
have the get instance by zone. Did we validate that is not going to, if we do that after we start the instance, do you think that might give us the IP address? Did we
No,
look at that
because
one?
it's just returning the names of the instances. But we can take a look
Okay.
at it
That
and
was a
validate
chat
for sure.
suggestion.
Hey, maybe they're right. We should look.
Nope.
Get instances.
I think that's the same that we were getting from the start.
And it says parse the response. Oh, hey. They appear to be getting instances. You chat person, whoever you were, I think this is giving me what we want. But what we need to do is turn this one into, so this is returning me instance, network. Oh man, it's giving me what I need right there. Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's throw it in there.
Yeah, we just run this after the start, right?
Yeah. So right here, we do get instance. That's not it. This one. By zone. It was too specific for me. Get instance by zone. Let's do it. And we're going to pass in these others, I think. Nope.
I think, do we do it the same way we started it?
Because this doesn't actually give me the details. This start instance doesn't give me enough details to like do that.
To just use the values in the second one.
Oh man, this
duplicate it.
really is calling for me to make this a subflow, and I'll pass in zone and instance at the start. So right now, I'll just need to set both of those manually. And so this will get me the details of that instance. And then I can use that down here. VM's loaded and ready, and I can get the instance details, network interfaces, network IP address right here. Save.
This is exciting.
I think what we're going to run into though is this is going to run too soon, and it's not going to have information for me yet.
We need to wait. Oh,
I think it's going to have to wait.
Ryan, he already told us to do that in the chat.
Ryan, you're on point, because I think it's going to happen too soon, and it's not going to have the IP address yet, because it doesn't acquire that IP address until after the VM has gone through most of its launch. So I think it's going to end up not having that information yet for me. Unknown. Information, network. Yeah. See, the network stuff is not provided yet, I don't think. It's got network IP in there, but I don't think that that's the one I need yet, because that's the internal one, and I need the one later. So I'm going to have to invoke maybe a subflow or something that's going to run asynchronously like 5 or 10 seconds later.
I think for now we may be out of time.
Well, I do believe that for now we're out of time, but thank you, chat, for giving us that idea. You were totally right. They totally provided that. They just made it seem like it wasn't a thing that I needed. So I will stop share. And hi there, Brad. It's nice to see you again.
Hello, everyone.
That was a lot of fun. And I'm super excited to finish this up and deploy it into production, so that next week, so we do this live stream on YouTube and Twitch every week. And you can find us by going to the developer site as we showed earlier. And also it's ServiceNow Dev Program. So it's youtube.com/ ServiceNow Dev Program.
And if you're watching on the CreatorCon site, you can scroll down to more resources and click on ServiceNow Dev Program YouTube channel, and it'll give you YouTube channel, which this
following our show that we're going to wrap up right now is some socials, which will be in those as well. And that's also where you'll find the links to those shows. And we'll have a slide up that details that, but in that resource area is how you get to choose which social that you're going to go join right after this. So that was really cool, Brad. So what we did is we found and downloaded a Spoke, which is a collection of actions for Flow Designer from our ServiceNow store. We loaded that up. We looked at its details. We did just the tiny bit of configuration, which was provided some credentials to the endpoint that we were working on. And then we built 2 flows to start a VM and stop a VM if there is a live show that is on that day. It's not perfect yet, but it's better than what we had yesterday, which is what we aim for around here, is better than yesterday, because I want all my days to be slightly better than the ones before. And because if you aim too high, you're going to just be sad all the time. I just want to be incrementally better on pretty much everything I do. So Hacktoberfest. Wrap us up with a little bit of that, and then we'll rate our drinks.
Yeah, Hacktoberfest. We are, I don't know, 3-4 days left in October.
October, yeah, end of October.
So Hacktoberfest. If you are, if you're interested in spokes or now experience components, you can go take a look at our blog post around Hacktoberfest. It'll give you more information on how you can get to one of the GitHubs with either spokes or components in it. You can fork those, clone them, make some changes, commit your changes, and then open a pull request. And if you open 4 non-spammy pull requests, you get a t-shirt from DigitalOcean. And not a lot of time left, but there's probably enough to get it done if you want to.
Well, and the other thing is those repositories are going to live on. And so
that's right.
They're a place where you can contribute and share to the community and see what other people have been building. So your ServiceNow instance is a good place to find examples, but also these GitHub repositories are another good source of what you can find and see, learn, and do. So Brad, how was your beverage today, sir?
Yeah, I had the saloon juice, and it was a solid 4 out of 5. So it was, nice. It was a good one.
And my Innocent Gun was quite tasty. This rum-barreled red beer was delicious, and it gets a 4.5. It moves right into the Victor category. So there's going to be a slide that's going to come up in just a moment. And we're going to transition into the socials. So we'll be over there in just minutes from now. And you can follow the details on that. And come join us anytime on YouTube. All of our shows are streamed and saved, so you can watch them on demand. And we're super glad to have you with us today. And if you're watching us in the future, well, come join one of those live streams that we have every Friday. And thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Welcome back. I hope everyone's been having a great day so far. And to end the day today, we have special networking and Q&A sessions with the product experts. And if you missed something from this CreatorCon 2020 digital experience, or you just want to watch it again, all the sessions, workshops, and content are available until the end of 2020. Thanks so much, and I'll see you at the networking reception.